A lot of us obsess about the wrong things when buying a home. Will we get the best interest rate? Is this the right market to buy? Will our realtor give a cashback? And don't get me wrong, these things are important. However, they don't even measure up to what we are going to talk about in today's video. So let's get started. If you are new to this channel, my name is Avjot and I want to retire 1 million immigrants with $5 million. And if you are someone who wants to join this mission, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button and I will make sure that I come up with amazing content that will make you and me a lot of money. So in today's presentation, we'll be talking about the things that you absolutely need to avoid and the homes that you absolutely need to avoid or be careful of when you are going into the market. And that's where a good realtor, a good mortgage agent and having a good team makes a whole lot of difference and can save you thousands and thousands of dollars. The first one is the wrong location. Irrespective of how much money you save on your interest rate, if you get a home in the wrong location, you will actually lose thousands of dollars when you are going to sell the home. So we'll talk about the first thing that matters, and that is a flood zone. This is something that we don't really talk about when we are buying a home. I have never heard a client come to me and say, oh, is this home in a flood zone? They're always like, oh, is this the right market to buy? The questions are so superficial, but we forget that there are certain things that can actually cause you thousands of dollars. Now there's a place in close to Cambridge which is called Ayr, AYR. Now there are certain areas which are really good in that particular area. However, there are areas which are very close to the river. Now you might be saying, oh wow, there's a river going in the back. It's called Nith River, by the way. There's a river going in the back, but these actually fall into the flood zone. You can actually go in on the websites and talk about Ayr flood zone, and you'll find areas there which are very close to the flood zone. There are certain areas where the river will actually flood the basements. There is a lot of water damage. The water tables are very high and that causes a lot of problems, and there are people who are local to the area who would know this, and that's the reason why I do not recommend anyone who is like a GTA realtor. He might be the best realtor in GTA. I would absolutely never recommend buying a home with them in areas that they don't know about. That's the reason why I have this as point number one, because no one talks about this. Number two is close to cemetery. Now I definitely do not have a problem. I don't have any superstition, but people do. And therefore, if you buy a home close to a cemetery, there is a very high chance that you will have the pool of buyers when you're selling the home, the pool of buyers that you are targeting, that might be a lot lower. So let's talk about a real property that has this problem. So this home is amazing. If you look at this home, nothing wrong with this. It's a 1600 square feet, pretty renovated, not very old, with a balcony, like a dining area, 3 bedroom, 3 bath, very low condo fee, 135, 6 to 10 years, 1657 square feet, which is bigger than my first home when I bought. But this has been on the market for over 100 days, and there's a reason for that. And it's not even listed for a lot, 699. You might be able to get it for 650 even. But this got terminated because it's not selling for over 3 months. The market is not bad. The market is bad right now, but it's not that bad that this particular house will not sell for so long. So what's going on here? Let's go to Google Maps and let's see what's going on with this particular home. This is the home. It's a corner lot, and this is the cemetery. You'll see a cemetery here. And that's the problem with this particular home. There are, if you look at the side view of this house, it's all symmetry. And some people are very superstitious, and like I'm not, but I know that there are many buyers who would not buy close to a cemetery, and that's the reason why this particular home is not selling, even though it's listed for under $700,000. There are homes around that area which are selling for much more than that. My home sold for $825,000. It was a smaller home than this. Obviously, it was a freehold, brand new. All that is different, but homes close to a cemetery don't sell very easy. Very similar to this, it's very important that we look at homes which are close to rail tracks, and I'll again say that this is something that is not superstition or anything, but the foundations that it's said, I don't know if it's true, but it's said that the foundations of these homes actually don't last very long because of the vibrations from the tracks. Then there is the noise problem that you might have if you're living very close to say train tracks, and we'll again look at one such example. And again, I'm actually showing you this because these are things that you can do sitting at your home. And in fact, your realtor should be doing this, your mortgage agent should be doing this. It's very important that you are with a team who are looking at these factors. I'll talk about most of the factors today, but there's certainly more factors that I'll not be able to touch upon because it's so exhaustive. But again, look at this house. It's a beautiful double garage house. It was listed for about 1.5, slightly more, for the area. But again, this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful house. There are some custom upgrades in the house. Kitchen is beautiful. Look at the countertops. It's a 5-bedroom, 4-bath. It has a finished basement. Not a lot of property tax. Not very old. 3,100 square feet. And it's on the market for 114 days. The market is bad, but it's not that bad. And the reason for this, and again, let's go to Google Maps here. There's the home. The homes besides it even has swimming pools. But if you look at, and I'll show you the backyard here. It's beautiful. Look at the backyard. But I'll show you where the red flag comes. Basement is amazing. Look at this backyard, massive. But just besides this backyard, if you see here, is a beautiful train track. There's some forest here, there's some trees, but there's a train track, and the train actually comes quite often from here because it's the main train track that's being used by the GO train. It's being used by the Canada Rail, I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of noise. And some people, like me, I'm very scared of trains. I don't know why. It's a topic for another day. But I won't want a train to be going from behind my home every single day, especially at night, especially if you have kids. And that's one of the reasons why, even though it's a very, very good area, it's very close to the airport, massive backyard, great home, but it's not selling for over 114 days. So that's something that we absolutely need to avoid. Moving on, homes that are close to high tension cables. I don't know if you have seen high tension cables. I'll show you another home. This is something that we were seeing. So we bought a home in Doon South very recently, and this home actually caught our attention. We absolutely loved this home. Over 3,000 square feet, finished basement, beautiful, beautiful home, fully upgraded. And the best part about this basement, I'll just come there, is there's an in-ground, like a hot tub. And it's massive. It's a massive, massive hot tub in this. However, if you go, and there's even an upstairs living room here. So we absolutely love this home. But when we went to the back of the home, look at the washrooms here. It's beautiful. Look at the closet. You have it's massive. There was even a window in the closet, right? So it's a beautiful home. The basement is amazing. Everything is, fully done. Beautiful backyard. That's what I'm talking about. That's the high tension cable. Look at that. So it's important that you look at these images. It's important that you go and look at the homes. Don't just trust blindly your realtor. Do your due diligence as well. There's a reason why these homes are on the market. If you look at this home, it's actually sold for a lot lower than what they listed. In fact, the original list price was about 1.6 million, and it stayed on the market for a very long time. Now, even though they say 61 days on the market, but this home has been listed. It was first listed in 2023, and it took an entire year to sell. Now, I don't know how much of this research is true, but it said that high tension cables omit EMF, and that EMF can cause cancer. Now, jury is out on this, whether it's, it causes or not. But if you Google this thing, it's all over the place. And that's for people who are actually good researchers, who are actually researching the properties, or realtors that you're selling to. They actually research the properties. It's important that you don't buy close to that, because the buyers on the other side, when you sell the home, it'll be very difficult to convince them why this is a good home. And therefore, you see homes like these actually are over renovated. And there was an in-ground, pool, and we were very, very fascinated, and we were very, tempted to put an offer on this house. But then we just went back. If you look at, the things, it's not safe. That's what at least the internet says and the research says. We don't know whether it's true. If you know something, do tell us in the comments. But I would absolutely avoid these kind of homes, purely because it will cause some friction when you sell these homes. Another one is close to waste treatment plants. Now, in Kitchener again, and this is happening in every city, right? So there are waste treatment plants in every city. There's one in Burlington, there's one in Hamilton, there's one in Kitchener, and there are homes. Let's say if you buy something which is close to Ira Needles, there's a place called Ira Needles, and there's a Costco there. There are homes which are very close to that Costco, and people who don't know this area, they actually buy and overpay for these homes. These homes actually sell almost $50,000 to $150,000 lower. I'm talking about townhomes. I'm not even talking about fancy homes here. And the reason why they sell for lower is because there's a waste treatment plant just behind Costco, and that waste treatment plant actually emits a lot of foul smell, especially when it's a rainy season. I don't know, what's to do with the rain there, but that's where you absolutely need to avoid. And that's where, I've seen a lot of people use realtors who don't know the area. Especially I can talk about Kitchener because I know this area, I live here, and that's something that you should absolutely avoid. And just Google it, right? It's so if you feel that the price is too low, Google and see if any of these factors is impacting the purchase price there. So close to waste treatment plant is something that I'll absolutely avoid. Low school rating. Now, even if you don't have kids, it's important that you buy in good school areas, because what if when you're selling the home, the people who are buying, or the pool of people who are buying, they actually have kids. What if they want the best schools around them? So even if you don't have kids, don't just settle for a home just because it's at a low price in a bad school district. Make sure that you're buying in a good school district, and therefore you will actually automatically increase the value of the home, because there are so many people who will want to pay a premium for good schools. Now the question is, how do you check whether this is in a good school area or not? There are a couple of steps here that you need to follow. So this particular website is for Kitchener, but it will have this is for Waterloo Region District School Board, but there will be similar websites for every single location that you buy. If I go to maps and directions, I think it's here. No, it's not here. It's school boundary and location maps. What I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to get what is the school district for this particular address. So I'll just input the address here, and it'll show me what schools do I have. Now I usually would check for elementary schools. Obviously, you can look at the high schools as well, but it's important, and most of the people who are buying, their first time home buyers, it's important that you check elementary schools especially. And if there are good elementary schools in the area, there's a very high chance that the high schools will also be good. So I look at the Grow Public School, that's the school that you have, and then I'll go to Fraser Institute and I'll check the Fraser rating for this particular school. And again, these are not tools that are only with mortgage agents. These are just tools that are available to you irrespective of who you are. You can actually Google them. All right. Let's see. And this school area is 7.2. The rating for this particular school is 7.2, which is not bad. Anything over 7 is good. Anything over 6.5 is good. Anything under 6.5, I would absolutely avoid. Now, this particular chart actually says anything over 6 is good. But I look at schools around 7 plus, because these schools, obviously, this is not the only thing that you need to check. You can check ratings and you can check Google, reviews and stuff like that of the schools, but this is a very quick check where you can see that particular home, which school district it lies in, and then you can go to the Fraser Institute and look at the rating for that particular school. It's important that your realtor does that, and that's one of the reasons why you have a really good team working with you. Then there are certain other things like backing onto freeways and highways, and the reason is nothing superstitious about it. It's just about the noise that you'll have, because freeways and highways will have traffic even at night. And if you are someone like me who wants to open their windows sometimes at night, it's important that you don't back onto highways, because there will be a lot of noise and you'll not be able to do that. That's something that reduces the price of the home. The other homes are student purpose condos, and if you have attended my first time home buyer class, by the way, the next one is happening in the next few days, so just go to the description and subscribe to the first time home buyer class. I talk about this and a lot of other pitfalls that you might want to avoid, and the process of buying your home. Anyways, coming back to this, student purpose condos are something that you should absolutely avoid, and the reason is that if you buy student purpose condos, they are managed by a property management company. You don't have any control over the rents there. They pay you a set rent, they will manage the property, but the bigger thing is that if you buy something like that, the mortgage companies will not lend on them. There's no particular reason. I think there's just more risk for the mortgage companies, and therefore there's only one lender, and it's not an A lender, which will lend on student purpose condos. So it's important that you don't buy something like that, and there are a lot of these in school areas like Kitchener-Waterloo. In Waterloo, there are certain buildings that you should absolutely avoid, and that's another reason why you need a local realtor who is really good. Now, by the way, I keep saying that you can get in touch with a local realtor. If you get in touch with my team, we have realtors everywhere in Ontario, BC and Alberta. I can actually get you in touch with with people who actually know the areas that you are buying in. So make sure that you are filling the form below, and we'll do the eligibility, and then I'll connect you with someone who is really good in the particular area that you're buying in. Now, there are other factors when it comes to location, but let's just move on to the next one, which is old homes. Now, I don't have a problem with old homes. I actually bought a more than 100-year plus property in the US last year. So I don't have a problem with old homes, but you have to be careful on certain things. The first one is electrical wiring. Now, if you look at homes which are built before 1966 in Canada, there's something called as a knob and tube wiring. Now, knob and tube wiring is absolutely something that you should stay away from, and the reason is that first of all, it's a fire hazard. Second of all, the insurance companies don't insure anymore on these particular homes. There are very few insurance companies. The insurance will be very high, and it's just absolutely something that you'll have to change if you move into the home. When you're buying something which is in the 1960s or before, make sure that you don't have knob and tube wiring in the home. The second kind of wiring, which was only for like 8 or 9 years between 1966 and 1974, was aluminum wiring. And aluminum is not very fire friendly, and therefore the insurance is very high on aluminum wiring. So make sure that these are the kind of wirings that you are absolutely avoiding. The wiring that is used since 1974 to today is copper. So make sure that you have copper wiring in the home, and as long as you have that and it's in good working condition, you're good. The second kind is plumbing. That's another thing that we need to be careful about. We need to stay away from lead pipes because they are harmful. We need to stay away from Kitec plumbing, which was used between 1995 to 2007, mostly in condos, and those are very, very prone to water leaks. And there are certain insurance companies, if you have one of these plumbings, they will actually not insure, and you'll end up paying a lot more to renovate the home and get the pipings changed, and just make sure that you are not doing that. This is especially true for Kitec plumbing. We have many condos that have Kitec plumbing. We have experience of working with clients. Now, there are two types of Kitec plumbing. One is that the entire condo building has Kitec plumbing, and by the way, you can actually notice Kitec plumbing. All you need to do is watch under the sink, like the kitchen sink, and you will see a orange, plumbing there. If you see the orange plumbing, there's a very high chance, it says Kitec as well, but there's a very high chance that the orange plumbing that you see is Kitec. Stay away from that because it's very expensive to change. Now, certain times it costs about $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 per unit if the Kitec plumbing is only there in the unit, and that's okay if you are willing to spend that money. However, if Kitec plumbing is there in the entire building, it will be absolutely a nightmare because they'll have to change that eventually, and that will be very, very costly, and it will all fall upon your condo fee. A lot of people don't talk about this, but these are very, very important points that I'm talking about. The third thing is asbestos. Homes that were built before 1990, they had asbestos in insulated pipe. For insulation, asbestos was used. Floor tiles, fireproofing, all these things, there was certain use of asbestos, and that's not healthy. And if you are buying a home which is before 1990, make sure when you're doing the inspection there is less use of asbestos, and make sure that you are able to change that, because if you have kids, you would not want to expose them to any harmful substances, and that's where I would absolutely avoid these things as well. Then the two M's, mold and mildew. Mildew is very much similar to mold. It's basically fungus that collects in humid places. For example, if a washroom doesn't have a working exhaust, there will be fungus, or mold, which will collect on the ceiling. This happens in the attic as well, because that's another place which is very humid. It happens in the basements, and it's important that if you find mold during inspection, you stay away from that house, or you make sure that the inspector double checks and triple checks to see that the mold is superficial and it can be fixed by a couple of $1,000s. But if you find mold spread across different rooms, absolutely avoid that home. By the way, you'll probably have a very hard time getting a mortgage on this, especially if your agreement or the inspection report says that there's absolutely a lot of mold there. Make sure that you're avoiding homes with molds. The fifth thing is old condos, and this is no surprise. Old condos just don't appreciate because the condo fees are very high. The maintenance is not, up to the mark. Some builders are different. Some property management companies are different, but just avoid old condos. When I say old condos, anything which is more than 15 years old, just absolutely avoid that. I actually recommend my clients buying within 10 years, if possible within 5 years. Now, the downside of that is the homes are smaller, but if you absolutely have to buy something, make sure that you're buying in a very, very good location if you absolutely have to buy an old condo. Other things that we need to avoid: The first one is flipped homes, and I have nothing against flippers here, but there are certain flippers who buy an LLC, they do a very shoddy job of renovating the home. There are no permits, it's not built to code, they just remove certain walls without taking any permits. The quality finish, the finishes are very poor quality. If you see stuff like that in the home, absolutely avoid. But imagine, if you have a poor quality finishes, if the floor is broken and it's completely renovated, the floor is of bad quality, or if you see the countertop not being at at the level it should be, or if you see a very shoddy job in the kitchen or the bathrooms, imagine what they would do to things that you cannot see. Imagine the wiring in the house, imagine the plumbing in the house. These things you just cannot control, and if you see very poor finishes, they're properly built to maximize profit, and don't just fall prey to these particular homes. Realtors love to sell these homes. I would not recommend doing that. The second one is homes with over-the-top upgrades. You saw that home, that was there with the high-tension cables. It had an in-ground, like a sauna and, whatever, bathtub or hot tub. And that over-the-top upgrade was to cover for the fact that it's close to a high-tension cable, and it still took 1 year to sell. Homes with over-the-top upgrades usually have a catch. So make sure that you are finding that catch by doing the Google searches and making sure that your realtor is doing the job that he or she is supposed to do. The other thing that you need to avoid is the lower unit of a stacked townhouse. Let me give you an example for that. So the unit that you see in this particular screen is actually not just one unit. It is two units. There's one unit which is this on the top, and then there's a unit which goes in the basement as well. So this is one unit that you see, and this is another unit. So these are two units just like we have in India, but these are the units that are at the bottom that you need to avoid, because the living rooms or the bedrooms in this particular unit will be almost in the basement, and you would not want to feel claustrophobic when you are in the basement. It's almost like you bought a home and you are living in a basement. So the entrance of this particular home is actually going into the basement. I think the living room will be here. The window is decent here, but you'll see certain rooms where there'll be absolutely no light coming in. Look at the kitchen, it's so closed, no windows. The window is small here as well in this particular room. It's small here. Look at this room, right? It has a very small window, just like a basement. And these homes are very, very difficult to sell. And we can see that it was listed for 123 days before it sold. Absolutely avoid these homes. Obviously, you will get a very good price. If you have a very bad realtor, they will push you because these are easy to get, easy to negotiate on. But make sure that you are absolutely avoiding certain units like these where you would have basement-like feeling in certain rooms, and usually that would happen in a stacked townhouse and the lower unit of the stacked townhouse. Now, the fourth thing, which is also very important, is Vastu. And I don't believe personally in this, but it's important that I have this discussion here because there are a lot of people, again, in your buyer's pool when you're selling the home who would believe in Vastu. And there are certain things that you need to avoid because it causes bad luck, poverty, health issues, and it's more complicated than this. We actually have a person in the team who is Vastu certified. So if you reach out to the team and if you believe in Vastu, you'll have an amazing person working with you, and she'll talk about everything that, you should absolutely avoid. Anyways, if the home is on a T-point, that's something which goes against certain factors there, and that's something that you should avoid. A T-point is something where there's a road, the home is right there, and there's a road that hits that particular house. So that's a T-point basically, and that's the home that you should avoid. South-facing homes, southwest, southeast, these are also homes that a lot of people avoid as per Vastu and Feng Shui. They are not auspicious enough, and therefore people avoid that. And the third kind of homes are pie-shaped lots, and mostly there's two types of pie-shaped. Now, pie-shaped lots are simple. They are either smaller or bigger in the front, and they get smaller and bigger in the back. So they are not uniformly, rectangular lots. The lot is actually pie-shaped. So it's a smaller, front and a bigger back. Those are called gaumukh, as the name suggests. Cow, right? So cow-like, it's flat in the front and bigger in the back. That's exactly what it means. And I'm not making this up. This is actually something that, is there in Vastu. So Gaumukhi homes are not considered auspicious. So if you see a home which is pie shaped, and if you see a very massive backyard but a very small frontage, those are the homes that actually don't sell very well because they are not like considered auspicious. Same way Shermukh houses. Shermukh is basically, as the name suggests, it's bigger in the front and smaller in the back. Those pie shaped lots are still okay, but pie shaped lots usually are very difficult to sell. Now, I tried to make a very comprehensive video by giving examples as well. Make sure that you're working with a team who understands all this. If you are someone who is looking to buy a home, book a call. It's a free call that you book from the description. If you want to learn more about the process, make sure that you're attending the next first time home buyer class, and that link is also in the description. That's all I have for today. I hope this video was helpful, and if you are searching a home, make sure you show this video to your realtor so that you don't make the mistake of buying a home which is any of this, because it will cause you trouble when you are selling the home and it will not appreciate as much. That's all I have for today. मिलते हैं अगली वीडियो में, तब तक के लिए बाय बाय.